Good evening. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Wednesday, and we're sitting here at the 8th of October, 2025. So before we get any further, let's take a look at tomorrow. You got a full day of members speaking. This is who's scheduled: Powell, Bowman, Kashkari, and Daly. No jobless claims data, and I don't believe there's any wholesale inventory data either. So you're blind in the data. I don't see where the Senate has gotten any closer to resolution yet. We'll see if that comes. Apparently, President Trump is talking that they are getting close on an Israel-Hamas deal, close enough where he said today he might be flying to the Middle East at the end of the week. If that's the case, and if you hear that he is going, then that deal's going to be wrapped up. He's not going there to not make a deal. You understand that. Turkey's President Erdogan said the same thing, that they're close. I read in other parts of it, away from all that Hamas has still not agreed to give up their arms. So we will see just what happens there. I don't know. We'll find out. Fingers crossed. I think the whole world wants this to end, and all of us hope for the best of that. When you look at the stock market, this is something you don't want to end. It's lots of green. The market's lit up. You get a number of markets that aren't up there. Home Depot still can't get out of its way, down another 3. Apple was up today. Netflix has come back. So that 1150, 1160, 1170 area, that's proving to be a good support zone. Amazon, you know that the Prime Days have kicked off, so Costco's competing, Target's competing, a number of them coming out with it. GM was down, Ford was down, and I want to repeat again, the aluminum, there's a big issue here. One of the major plants in the United States had a fire. Now, how long they'll actually be out, we'll find out over the coming days. But they produce about 40% of the aluminum used by automakers. When we come to Boeing, up another 350 today. Tesla joined the parade rally, back up 560. Lilly up today. NVIDIA just keeps going. Now, as NVIDIA goes, so goes that whole AI movement. And you understand, a lot of people saying it's a bubble. I'm not buying into that. I think this is just like we were when we had, remember the first time that Apple came out with its phone? I don't know how many of you remember the first time internet started. So you're getting that happening, and there's a lot going on there. I'm hearing how Cisco now is working hard to connect all these different data centers together. So there's plays within plays that are happening. What I don't like is sometimes the general market is rallying with this, not the best thing. And it's rallying because they're looking all around them and what's the fundamentals there. Some people are wondering, how do you play the metals here if you're not in? Look at the metal stocks probably. Their PE ratios have not kept pace with what gold itself is doing, or silver for that matter. Give you an example how volatile it is. Silver up today $1. As I'm on the air with you and shooting this at this minute, silver's down 84 cents, almost losing the whole thing back. You've got to be very cautious here. This is no longer a game for the timid. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to prepare to, at any time that a plug can be pulled and you get these mini shock waves, they won't last long. The fundamentals are good. So we also had the Fed minutes today. And in the Fed minutes, I put them into my report tonight that goes out to all my paid subscribers. I see a confused Fed. I see members on one side going, now we got to keep going, labor's weakening. And I get the other side of that argument saying, yeah, that might be happening, but inflation isn't breaking. No, we're nowhere near that 2% target. What do we do? And where's the full impact of the tariffs? All right. And that's what the arguments seem to be back and forth. I don't think that there's a big argument that labor markets have weakened. They have weakened, and we'll see just what they're going to be made up out of. And that's going to be the difficult part for everybody. So a number of you did write me, and you gave me stocks to follow. I was out today all afternoon. I'm just back. I will cover those tomorrow. I appreciate it. All of you. You can write me when you watch me on YouTube. Tell me what you want to cover. We don't have to stay with the ones I constantly do. I'd like to rotate, and we'll have some fun with that. So you've given me a bunch. I'm going to add them. I'm going to drop others, and we'll keep moving on like that on a regular basis. Why not? It's fun. Okay. So I was covering PCG yesterday, you can see the market moving out. What if I tell you that they've charged somebody with those fires? Remember the Palisades fire that burned down all the homes and everything? Well, they think they have found the person that set that. I don't know if the man's guilty or not, but they have arrested somebody. And this market's been on a tear to the upside. A lot of this now has nothing to do with that, of course. It has to do with the demand for electricity everywhere. And the word is everywhere. You have higher lows, higher highs. The market's still going. The market's not paying attention to the 200-day moving average on the way up, which often means on the way down, it will pay attention to it as support. Keep your eye on that. And what the market's been doing is it's running at the Bollinger Band. It's closed back over it. You only stay over it 5% of the time. And this is a vertical price rise that just came from roughly the 1440 area all the way up $2. Not a dramatic move, but $2 on a $14 stock, not bad either. When you look at where we're at in momentum, you're overbought. So at any point here, I look for the market to pull back within the Bollinger Band. When we come to Celsius Holdings, the drinkers, okay, higher lows, higher highs, now up to the Bollinger Band, and also overbought. So be cautious. When I see markets are overbought and they just keep moving like these have, it's being pulled, and I think you know why. It's being pulled by the other parts of the market. Shopify, look at higher lows, higher highs, right at that Bollinger Band, and overbought. So 3 in a row that are doing the same thing. And here's what I said. You came to life. Just like Frankenstein. You finally found a trade bottom in Netflix. It took a long time, but it's found it. So this bottom, it acts like this one. We'll see what it does. Is the market going to run right through the 100-day average? And green is the question. On pullbacks, the 18 is the support area. And the market was oversold, and it's corrected that. When we come to Cleveland Cliffs, higher lows, higher highs, and exploded out of the Bollinger Band for a change. It too is overbought. You won't get me ever telling my clients, the market's over the Bollinger Band, you should be buying it. Just the opposite. In Robinhood, still holding on. They tried to get this market, you can back right here and see, to get it to lose the embedded reading. You need a number under 79 for that to happen on a closing basis. It didn't happen. It regained all its strength, probably headed back to 155.39. If you took out if you took out the lows of Tuesday, then I'd be nervous because you probably then lose back that embedded reading. Right now it's got it and this looks good. Tesla, where do you think it's finding its support? The 18-day average. How often do you hear me say that's the line in the sand? And that's where markets like to fight for whatever their next direction's going to be. That's exactly what's going on. We've had the swing line down, but the bias is up because the market's able to stay above that 18-day average of closes. In Joby, I think that traders are going to start tomorrow, trying to pick this market up against the 18-day average. They'll buy a little here, they'll buy a little there. It's not going to be this time about chart action. It's probably going to be saying, there's something to Archer and there's something to Joby. They're getting some play. These planes are going to be the next venture part of the market. They're already flying for Joby in the Middle East. Let's see what happens. Should be interesting. Then we come to the financial sector, which just can't get out of its way. The market keeps fighting a battle, and it keeps drifting down, but the Bollinger Band stopping each break. Just not the place to be. Other places have been where to be. XLI, well, the industrial stocks have taken off, but I'm not seeing the business, and that's what I'm looking to see. Where is the business? You keep going to the Bollinger Band and unable to build on it. We'll see. In terms of the momentum, the market is trying to embed. We'll see if it can do that. On the energy stocks, back up to the resistance. You do realize you have been stuck at this 18-day average now for a week and a half. You've gone absolutely nowhere, spinning your wheels. Now, as I said, the metals are on fire. You heard me say yesterday, you can't pick up a newspaper if you read one, but you get them digitally now. You can't read it without gold being talked about, silver being talked about. Everybody saying you should have 10 to 15% in your portfolio. Well, you should have had that all the way through probably, all right? Gold is a safety net hedge, and every now and then, not often, every now and then, the monster takes off. I've seen it. I got my teeth wet trading it when I was a young man in the futures markets, and it's still that. So I like it, but I do think that the gold miners might be the place to be now. I don't think they'll react as negative when you get these intraday corrections into the gold itself and silver. SoFi, well, look what just happened. You came up and rallied enough yesterday to take out that high. So you've got a lower and lower, higher high. It's truly nothing at this point, but was that a trade bottom? And it just might be. That came into this whole zone that it has held before. We'll see. All right, I'm not excited about it, I can tell you that. Palantir's still not acting as good as other parts of the market. You know, you lost your bullish the market's working off, present tense, not past, working off being overbought. Any reading over 70 in slow stochastics that aren't embedded is overbought. How do you get rid of overbought? Typically by going sideways to lower, and that's pretty much what this market's doing. BND can't get out of its own part here. So as long as this can't get up and going, why do people think interest rates are falling? They're not. If they're falling, you should get a good rally out of the market. That's not what's really going on. In UUP, higher lows, higher highs. The dollar hit again the upper band, and it corrected a little bit. There's a gap in here now. It might want to fill it. How many people thought when the government would shut down that the dollar would take off? Most did not, I can tell you that. But price counts have been bullish all the way through it. The first one was hit today. So for those of you that ever get our price counts, you can, if you haven't, you want to go to iraepstein.com, and in the free offer section, that is where you can sign up for price counts, and we'll give you a sampling of it so you can see the importance of being with us. You won't find them anywhere else. This is absolutely limited to people at Linn and Associates. So you want to take a look at it, or our QT people. Lower highs, lower lows, the market coming down right through here. As you can see, the 100-day average. So now I'm looking for a bit of support to develop in the euro. And in IBIT, well, I don't have it here, but I've been watching that. You know, you've gotten some pretty crazy action out of the cryptos because people are going, well, I missed the gold. Maybe I should buy the cryptos. And that's the thing that you have going on. Remember, if you want to get any of our free offers, just move your cursor right up to the top here. You'll see up here that little dot, by the way, from Facebook. Give that from YouTube. I said that wrong, but it's everywhere. Give that a click, and it'll take you right to the website. iraepstein.com, free offers. Have yourself a great evening. I'm watching the Cubs game out of this side, talking to you at that one. Maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to win one game to stay into the series another time. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening.